Which Bitcoin ETF are you buying? A lot of my friends have been asking this question today, and so I thought I would make a video to discuss this topic. Now, as you know, the ETFs are here. You know, the SEC has approved 11 of them, and I pulled up this tweet that shows the different pricing of the ETFs. So each ETF has a price based on the assets under management, the AUM. And you can see they vary widely. So Grayscale GBTC charges 1.5%, and all the way on down to Bitwise, which charges 0.2%. Now, I'm currently a holder of GBTC because the ETFs are just launched, just announced today as being approved by the SEC. So tomorrow we'll begin trading, and GBTC is the only one available until tomorrow. But as of tomorrow, all of the rest of these will be available too. And so GBTC, I think, currently has fees of 2.0%, so 200 basis points, and they're dropping the fee to 1.5% because all of the rest of these competitors are coming into the market, and it's been a bit of a fee war. All of these competitors have been dropping the pricing on their fees as the reapplications have come throughout the week. So that's a good thing for end consumers like you and me. I have held the GBTC because it is a good way to get Bitcoin exposure, has been a good way to get Bitcoin exposure in a traditional brokerage account. But now that there's a whole menu of options and much lower fees, I'm definitely going to switch tomorrow morning. And so when deciding what to switch to, well, what should you do? They all look kind of similar. They all have, a reasonable ticker, and some of them are names you might recognize before. But I'm going to go with Bitwise, and there's two main reasons. One is it's just the lowest fee, and this is a fairly commodity product that basically everybody's offering basically the same thing. So there's not a big reason to choose somebody who's offering a more expensive version of that thing. You should just choose the cheapest one you can. But there is one big difference, and that is that Bitwise is donating 10% of the profits of the Bitwise Bitcoin ETF to Bitcoin open source development. Now, Bitcoin has had a 15-year history. It's been a fully open source project. There was nobody who funded it. There's no venture capital funding or otherwise in the protocol. So it has really been ideological labor of love. The people who have chosen to get involved in developing Bitcoin have done so because they believe in it. They believe in the good it can bring to the world. They don't get paid anything. And so there have been a bunch of foundations that have sprung up to try to support more developers to be able to get involved, even if they need some form of minimal compensation to be able to do so. And so there's these three orgs: Bitcoin Brink, OpenSats, and HRF, that Bitwise has chosen to donate 10% of the profits of their ETF to these organizations. And I've looked at these organizations before. I know some of the people involved. These are all very high quality organizations, fully aligned with the mission of Bitcoin. So I have no concerns at all about endorsing these as the right types of places to make that 10% donation. And so, if Bitwise offers the lowest fees and they offer they're going to give 10% of the profits to these recipient orgs, it just seems like a no-brainer for me that I want to drop GBTC, which cost me 1.5% as of tomorrow, and I want to get into Bitwise, which is going to be 20 basis points, and it's going to contribute to open source development. So I hope that more people choose to get aligned with Bitwise because of the fee structure and the mission. Now, in full disclosure, I was an early angel investor in Bitwise. I'm a very small investor. I don't have much to gain or lose if they succeed, fantastically or fail. But I'm endorsing it because I have looked through the alternative options, and I believe this is the best option for me as an end consumer. the angel investment is fairly small relative to it. But I do know the people. They're good people. They've been in this space for a long time. They've been committed to the space, through ups and downs and the winters and so on. And their mission has always been to provide very low cost access to these types of assets. So so I think there's a lot of reasons to consider the ETFs, and specifically, I'm choosing Bitwise. But explore all the ETFs. In addition to exploring the ETFs, I think it's useful to use this as a moment to think about what role self-custodying Bitcoin and the underlying asset might play in your portfolio. Personally, that's what I have chosen to do with Bitcoin. Is I like to actually use the properties of Bitcoin that let you self-custody the thing. But I think there's plenty of good reasons to use ETFs too. And so we can talk more about sort of the trade-offs there in another video. But for now, I just wanted to suggest when looking through and trying to decide which ETF to consider the fact that Bitwise is lowest fees and that Bitwise is making this donation to these high-quality open source development organizations. And just wanted to let you know that. So tell me how I'm interested to hear sort of if you have opinions, what are the trade-offs and alternatives of the other asset managers that might be attractive for the ETF selection? For me, it's BitB. So we'll talk about other topics related to this in other videos, but let me know what you're thinking. Cool. See ya.